The Holy Gospel according to St. Luke, the 24th chapter. But on the first day of the week, at early dawn, they came to the tomb, taking the spices that they had prepared. They found the stone rolled away from the tomb, but when they went in, they did not find the body. While they were perplexed about this, suddenly 2 men in dazzling clothes stood beside them. The women were terrified and bowed their faces to the ground. But the men said to them, "Why do you look for the living among the dead? He is not here, but is risen. Remember how he told you while he was still in Galilee that the Son of Man must be handed over to sinners, be crucified, and on the 3rd day rise again?" Then they remembered his words and returned from the tomb and told all this to the 11 and all the rest. Now it was Mary Magdalene, Joanna, Mary the mother of James, and the other women with them who told this to the apostles. But their words seemed to them an idle tale, and they did not believe it. But Peter got up and ran to the tomb. Stooping and looking in, he saw the linen clothes by themselves. Then he went home, amazed at what had happened. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Christ.
In the book Alice in Wonderland, the White Queen tells Alice that she should practice believing 6 impossible things before breakfast each day. Actually, we do that all the time. Some of us, looking toward tomorrow and the White Sox home opener against the Indians, and the Cubs opener at Atlanta, close our eyes and imagine what it would be like to have a crosstown World Series. The fact that this does not happen in 104 years, 1906 to be exact, and for the record, the White Sox won that series 4-2, does not stop us. We can still hope. We hope for a lot of things that seem impossible. Some of us hope that Butler will beat Duke, a Stanley Cup for the Blackhawks, an economic recovery for our nation. Hey, the Dow closed close to 11,000 on Thursday, if that means anything. Tranquility in our homes and in our hearts, health for those we love, peace between nations and peace between people. When we think about it, we probably hope for 6 impossible things before we climb out of bed in the morning. But there are also times when our hopes can be dashed. For every white queen running around, there is a Queen of Hearts somewhere shouting, "Off with their heads! Off with their heads!" We have met the Queen of Hearts in our lives. People whose sole goal is to dash any hopes we had to bits. Jesus had run into the Queen of Hearts in the persons of Pilate and Herod. Only in his case, there was no King of Hearts around who kindly pardoned those who were condemned. But for Jesus, it was a cross, a grave. And for his followers, it was emotional decimation. That's where the Easter Gospel always begins, with the sad lot of Jesus' friends going out to the tomb to pay their respects to their now dead teacher and master. they go, expecting very little. They go, hoping, but still wondering whether they will be able to see their friend Jesus. Their hopes had been dashed. Craig Barnes, writing in the Christian Century, said, "No one is ever ready to encounter Easter until he or she has spent time in the dark places where hope cannot be seen." Easter is the last thing we are expecting, and that is why it terrifies us. This day is not about springtime, or bunnies, or girls in cute new dresses. It's about more hope than we can handle. We know the story, but if we let it, every year a new part will reach out, grab us, and give us reason to hope again. We know the part about the women and their spices, the stone being rolled away from the tomb. We've had that emblazoned on our brains since we were in Sunday school. It's hardly an impossible thing to believe these parts of the story anymore. The impossible thing, and therein our hope, lies in what the two men in dazzling clothes, who were probably angels, asked and then proclaimed. They ask, "Why do you look for the living among the dead?" And then they proclaim, "He is not here, but he is risen." The question is a cute one, but it is not what the followers who came to the tomb were all about. They weren't looking for the living among the dead. They were looking for the dead among the dead. They were looking for their friend Jesus, whom they had seen die on Friday, be buried by Joseph of Arimathea shortly thereafter, and whom they had no reason to believe was anything but dead. That Jesus would be anywhere else but in that tomb was the impossible thing that they never would have thought of before breakfast or before lunch. As a matter of fact, it took them several rounds of meals by themselves and with the risen Christ for it to sink in that what the two dazzling angels said was true. He is not here. He is not in this tomb. He is risen.